Hello, this is a Hall of Fame film from the North American server, and how appropriate, we're on the North American map. It's Live Oaks. It's not Ruinberg, it's not Malinovka, it's not Steps. We have a different map for a change, yay. I'm in my Pz38nA, and there's one light on the enemy team, 4 on ours, because we have a light scout platoon. And that means with all these lights, we're going to be shortchanged on everything else. We have 3 heavies, 3 mediums, and 3 TDs. They have 4 heavies, 4 mediums, and 4 TDs. 2 of the heavies are TOGs, and 1's OI experimental. So overall, they have a much slower team than us. They also have better armor and better firepower. The good thing for us is that 3 of their 4 tanks are particularly slow. So before they're going to be able to take advantage of their superior armor, hopefully we'll be in good positions and be able to offset that advantage or mitigate it to some degree, because we'll have better position than they do. It's going to take them so long to get engaged. Now, with all these mediums and lights in the fight, I think we're going to see a lot of action along the eastern border, down along the far side of the railroad and bridges. I'm going to go to one of my favorite spotting locations in the game, and that's out here in the middle of the lake, in those bushes out there, because it lets me see really well from here all the way around the rim over to here. And you'll get a good example of what you can see from this bush. It works low tier, high tier, doesn't matter. Awesome spotting location out here. And one of the advantages of this spot is, well, here comes a Type 58. We have a lot of tanks behind me that can fire. Let's see what happens when you're the only enemy tank that's spotted and there's a bunch of people waiting to press the trigger. Watch the rounds come in on this guy. Not all of them do damage, but this is pretty funny. I feel sorry for him. He's going to get blasted from every direction. Anyway, what I was going to say is one of the advantages of being out here is some people teach you to move up into these bushes up here, and you'll see the scouts as they pull up there, and you can force them to move on before they can even set up. Now I see the Hellcat, and I'm going to try to draw fire in on him because he's the biggest TD I see at the moment. The Martyr's over there, and the Stug is up on top of the railroad tracks. He gets hit a couple times and retreats over the tracks. I don't want the Martyr down here trying to spot us. If he sits in one location and he has binoculars, he's a threat to my team, so I want to take him out. I don't think anybody can spot me if I fire, so I'm just going to take this guy out myself if I have to. And the M37 hits him. There's the Churchill 7. At this distance, I have like 0 chance of hitting him, but I have an excellent chance of a 0 chance of penning him. I can hit him and let him know he's under fire and hopefully get him to back up a little bit. I'd like to pop that Dicker Max, but I'm not going to fire at him more than once, because as he's coming down the tracks, he could conceivably see me if I keep shooting, so I don't need his big gun pointing at me and exposing me, especially with like the Churchill over there and stuff. Nope, Hellcat, not the time to get seen. I'll just hold my fire at the moment. And see, our heavies are all the way up into town. They have the spots they want to be in before the enemy heavies manage to get over there and engage them. So this has the makings of a good fight right now. We have a lot of people down along the water, so even though the enemy's got a good force over there, I think we'll be able to handle them pretty well. Churchill's kind of chugging along that way. There's no way I can shoot that guy. I mean, he's on the other side of the tracks, and down elevation-wise, I don't have a chance of shooting him. But I do this T-25. There's nobody that can see me yet, so I'm going to try to shoot him. Now he's going to pull forward. I get a good shot and kill him. I guess at the moment we're weakest up in town. At least that's my assessment of it. We're being challenged up here, whereas down here I think we're in really a pretty good position to hold them off and overthrow them. So I'm going to move all the way up and around here When I get up here, based on what I see, I'll decide, do I want to come back here and flank them? Do I want to move up here and flank them? Or do I just want to go on through to Artie? Now, the one thing I'm concerned about is I haven't seen the leopard. And normally, if you have a scout on this map on the north side that you haven't seen yet, there's a small chance he could be over here spotting. Most likely, he's in these bushes. Somewhere in here, he's in these bushes waiting for me to do exactly what I'm doing. And he's a tier higher than me, so this could be somewhat unwise, but you know what? The game's not very fun if you're bored, play the boring, safe way all the time. I'm just counting on the fact that that I guess that I'm stupid and deliberately going in against a bigger tank. I'm going to stop and shoot at this guy and manage not to hit him at all. So I press on, thinking at some point I'm going to be spotted, maybe even shot at before I can see where the fire's coming from. But we've won the town, and I'm hoping if worst comes to worst, these guys to the north can help me out. There's this. I managed to stay ahead of most of those rounds. He's coming at me. Now, guys, I'm going to stop the film again here in a second. He's moving towards me, which he's smart to do. He's a much better rammer than I am. He's bigger than I am. And if he rams me, I am hurting. At the same time, I'm not the most agile tank in the world. I don't have anywhere near the agility he does. And he gets to come downhill at me. So everything is stacked against me right now, which I kind of knew it would be when I came in this direction. I figured he'd be somewhere around here. I didn't know he'd be smart enough to try to ram me. So this puts me in a very difficult position. So I'm about to do a very subtle little trick that I teach in my video series on ramming, which I haven't posted yet. I haven't created it. You guys are keeping me so busy with Hall of Fame films, I don't have time to do other stuff. And I know, that's an excuse. It's like I learned that from my first wife. It's like blame everybody else instead of yourself. But just kidding. I'll get to it at some point, but you guys are doing a lot of Hall of Fame films, so I'm staying busy with that. But here's what we're going to do. I'm pretty certain he's setting himself up to ram me, and I'll let it progress a little bit more. And you'll see, here he comes. He's headed straight towards me. So, when you're in a situation like this, what do you do? I'm going to show you what I do to help diminish the damage that you take from the ram. And remember, I'm in a Pz38nA. If I can do this maneuver in this tank, you can do it in any other scout in the game, because this is one of the least mobile scouts that you will play. And I'm going against a tank that's pretty agile. The cool thing is he's going downhill, so I get to use physics against him. The whole key to this is to present yourself as a target and sucker him into committing to a full speed ram, because at that point he's going fast and his ability to turn quickly and react to your change in motion is greatly diminished. So you get him going fast, you get him to think, I'm going to blast the hell out of this guy, and then you use that against him. It's kind of like a martial arts maneuver. You use the opponent's movement against them. I am going to let him get close, and at just the last second, I'm going to reverse direction, move back to my right. And the whole key to this is don't let him T-bone you full on. Now, in a more agile scout, I could get him to miss me completely, because as I pull forward, I would also turn to the left. And I would get him just to go sliding just right by the end of my tank. And then I have the advantage of, as I turn, my turret's rotating, I'm aimed straight at him. He's not only missed the ram, but he's passed me and his turret's looking the other way. So I get some free shots on him until he can recover. In this case, I can't get out of his way, but the whole key to this is to move far enough forward that he can't T-bone you straight on. You want him to hit the back quarter panel of your tank and watch what happens as he hits me. I don't sit there and absorb the full impact of the hit. my tank slides to the side, which helps absorb some of the power of the blow and reduces the damage I take. I still take more than I would like, but he doesn't kill me. Watch. As he gets closer, I reverse, and he just hits the corner of my tank. He tracks me, I track him, and he's going to die. If I hadn't pulled forward, he would have T-boned me square on. I would have died. Now as I pull forward, damn, there's the Artie. Pointed right at me. Luckily, I get a fire. He tries to lead me as I back up, and he doesn't get to shoot me, and he dies. Just one Artie left. And we're coming in from both sides. He has zero chance of surviving. Oh man, that shot was way off. I get a hit on him. He's going behind the building, and he's done, and the battle's over. For the fight, I end up with 964 damage, 3 kills, 17 of 33 shooting. That's 57% maybe. And I got 909 spotting damage with 9 spots. I lost 32,898 credits, and I ended up with 1,658 XP, survived the fight, got a scout medal, and I also added in Arsonist, Fire for Effect, and Bruiser mini medals, which gives me a battle score of 1,703. And I forgot to check it out before I made the video. I think that is going to, let me see, with the KO's mission being 3rd, 4th, 5th, I think, but I'm not certain, this is going to put me into 6th place on the Pz38nA list. I could be off by 1. So, if you never use this bush down here in the beginning, try it out. It works for any scout in the game. Every scout in the game can come down here and get awesome spots with it. A lot of enemy like to run down on top of the tracks before they zip over. It lets you see them as they do it. A lot of people like to push up here. It lets you see them as they do it. As you saw with the Type 58, if they try to come down here into these forward spotting locations from their side, you get to light them up before they get set up and hidden. And if you have a cooperative team behind you like I did, the guy who moves down here is dead before he can do anything about it. You can see tanks up in here. Even the big TDs on high tier fights like to sit up here and snipe. You can see them. You can draw fire at them. You can draw already fire. And it's just a cool spotting location. It's a great hiding location. You really don't have to worry about being spotted if you hold your fire until if the enemy breaks through on this side and they come way up around here. Sometimes, depending on where you set up at, they'll be able to spot you from this direction. Otherwise, if you don't fire, they will never see you there. And it lets you decide, when do I want to stop spotting, when do I want to move out. I waited until I thought we had an advantage over here, and we were at least even over here, so I run around the rim, and from here, a lot of times you won't run into anybody, and you get to decide. Do I want to pull up here and flank? Do I want to pull over here and flank? Do I want to press straight forward and take out Artie? It's an awesome way to play the map as a scout, and it works almost every battle unless your team's getting blown away. And then the biggest thing beyond that, besides that bush, is you saw how I tried to lower the damage I took from being rammed by an excellent ramming tank when I'm in a tank that really should have died from that ram. You sucker him into you at the last second. You pull forward. You try to turn left. If it's a more agile tank, I could have made him miss me completely. And he would have looked really silly because I would have been looking at him firing and he would have been facing exactly the wrong way. In this case, I knew I'd get hit, but as long as I get him to hit me far enough back that it spins the back of my tank sideways, I don't take the full force of the ram and I survive, and then he was an easy kill after that. Something to practice. If you get the timing wrong, you get T-boned and you die. If you pull it off, you can lower the damage from a much bigger tank and survive the initial impact. And then it comes down to, do you get help? Can you survive him once he gets his gun turned around, or do you kill him before he gets to shoot at you? It's a fun thing to do. Once you get good at it, it can really help you survive some situations where you had no business surviving. From Live Oaks, kind of suckering the leopard into a mistake he didn't realize he was making and getting into the Hall of Fame. Happy hunting.